What's good people? Welcome to Whole Views. Thank you for clicking the thumbnail. Today we're going to be talking about that action-packed episode of Ahsoka, episode 4, Fallen Jedi. So not only did we get 3 great lightsaber fights in this episode, but we also get the Ezra theory just blown all the way up. So I thought for certain this is Ezra in this mask. I kept thinking they gonna string this thing out, and then like the penultimate, second to last episode, they gonna let us know, hey, Ezra reveal everybody. It's been him the whole time. And that's just not gonna happen because they slashed that boy across the chest and that boy turned into a puff of smoke. I never saw it coming. It was actually quite cool. I didn't think that he would vaporize though. Didn't think they was going that way with it, but I am satisfied with that direction. Lightsaber fights and the action stuff aside, I feel as though with most TV shows and movies, the reason why we have the show, the reason why we have the movie is because somebody in this situation is just not listening. Like if you would just listen to what you're told to do, we wouldn't even have a show, we wouldn't have a movie, whatever it is we watch. And there's always going to be one person that is the catalyst that's just not listening. Why are you not listening, Sabine? They told you in the beginning, we may have to destroy this map. Nobody gets to Ezra, nobody gets to Thrawn. That's the only way to kind of save the day. And she told you that, and you didn't listen. If you would just listen, everything would be fine. But if I'm thinking about the Sabine character, let's go back to episode 1. They told Sabine, don't leave the ship with the map. What does she do? Leave the ship with the map. And that's how these other people end up with it. And it's like, if y'all would just do what you're told, follow orders, we wouldn't even be going through this. We have to find another way to get a story, because if everybody was just obedient, wouldn't even have these conflicts. I must say, as a criticism of this episode, and not really of the episode itself, but like of shows and TV in general, it's one of the things that I feel, and it felt very true here when watching this episode, when there's action happening, when fun stuff is occurring, watching the lightsaber fights, Sabine against that other character, and then Ahsoka versus the guy who I thought was Ezra, and then looking at Ahsoka versus Ray Stevens' character. It's like, man, all this stuff is so good. I'm liking the way all of it is unfolding, and it makes the episodes go by incredibly quick. And that is unsatisfactory. I wanted more from everything, but I guess you have to pace yourself and you have to stretch this thing out a little bit. They're gonna slow things down with this Anakin connection. Very cool to see Hayden Christensen pop back up as Anakin. I knew he was coming, it was always confirmed that he was going to show up appearing as Anakin in this. I thought it would be some type of flashback though, like some type of live action version of something that maybe happened in the Clone Wars cartoon, or like some in-between time that we didn't get to see as an audience. Now you see in the live action version of it. But the fact that it's him and he's showing up again and he is slightly de-aged and you can kind of tell, cool stuff. The de-aging thing is starting to look weird, depending on when they use it. Here, it's definitely noticeable. I was just checking out a piece of the Indiana Jones movie. I saw the opening of that, and the de-aged Harrison Ford, like he looked perfect. He looked like it was the real young Harrison Ford showing up there. So it just depends on when it's used. This time, seeing Hayden Christensen is like, he kind of looks like they aged him down just a smidge, because he's one of the people who has aged, and you could tell when you really look at him. But at a glance, he still kind of looks young, so they didn't have to do too much, but the little that they did was slightly noticeable, in my opinion. Not a big thing to critique, just something that I noticed. The general and her people show up, with the X-Wings, they all show up, but they show up just a tad bit too late to do anything. I was wondering, like, what role would they play in this conflict? I imagine Ahsoka is gonna some type of way come back to the land of the living, link up with the general, they some type of way track down where Sabine and these bad guys went and get to Thrawn and get to it at the end of it. But who knows how things will actually unfold. But that's my immediate thought, like Hera's gonna serve as transport and then back up once they make their way to Thrawn. I like the little nuggets that we get that connect these shows to other shows. So I didn't even mention it last time when I did a video. I talked about how Hera, the general, had dealt with the council, but then if you paying close attention, the senator on the council is the same lady from Andor, and that was really cool. Then you also see in this episode, you got the guy who's piloting the X-Wing. Forgive me for not remembering that character's name or that actor's name, but he shows up in the Mandalorian series, periodically. He pops in every now and then, and this kind of connects this show to that. And it's like, all that stuff is really cool. It's a big old galaxy with a whole lot of characters, but it does seem like we tend to get crossovers between the handful of people that all are tied to this Star Wars story that we get in all the different TV shows, movies, and films and all that stuff. So it's cool, the connectivity, the connective tissue of it all. But at the same time, y'all don't have to do that. Y'all know that, right? Y'all can introduce new people all the time. Although, still very cool that you have that connection. But I enjoyed this week's episode. Those are my observations from watching it. Not really too much of a recap this time, just more talking about the things that really stood out and I really enjoyed, because I'm liking the show Ahsoka. There's always gonna be people who are detractors who say this or say that and want it to be this way or that way. But I'm kind of falling in line with, I'm enjoying it. I think it's a high quality production. It's real good action most of the time. Is not a whole bunch of filler. I don't know how long of a season that we're gonna get with this, and hopefully we do get a continuation of the story, or at least a different story. Hopefully this is not a mini series, like one run. Like, I would like to get multiple seasons of this if Rosario's down for it. And if the story constitutes that you have it. Those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts about where you think the seasons are gonna go, and are you even enjoying the show? Because I'm enjoying the show quite a bit. Even though my Ezra theory went up in smoke, I'm happy with the way it did. Cool lightsaber fight with the spinning blade, and then getting the dash across the chest. A little bit anticlimactic there as I think about it. I thought that spinning blade would do a little bit more damage and be a little bit more of a difficult thing to overcome, but Ahsoka's a dog, apparently, and she handled that without much issue. So anyway, I'm wrapping up, y'all, and I'm out of here. Let me know your thoughts. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.